Hey guys, welcome to BIM Easy. Today we will discuss about scope boxes. Let us say you have completed your 3D modeling and you have done a great job with it. But now comes the important part, which is drawings production. The most basic step to initiate any drawing production is cropping the view so that it fits your desired sheet size. So Revit provides us multiple ways to do so. The easiest way is to use the crop view tool of Revit. You just simply enable it, enable the crop region visibility, and then your view will be cropped like this. You can even adjust the extents of the crop boundary like this. But this tool comes with a limitation. Suppose I have done this cropping on my level 1. If I go to level 2, the cropping won't apply here. What does this mean? The crop view tool is view specific. We need a better alternative which standardizes this crop size on all the views in the model so that I don't have to manually adjust the crop view boundaries on all the floors over here. That's when scope boxes come into picture. Apart from cropping, scope boxes give us a lot of control over our views and helps in standardizing the document. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Point number 1. How to apply a scope box. So to apply a scope box, go to the View tab and search for scope box. Click on it and you will get this particular window. You have to give a proper name to your scope box. This is very important. I am naming it building A for now. And now I need to create my rectangular box like this. So the scope box is now created. Now to apply the cropping of the scope box, I'll just click outside and here in the properties of the view in the scope box section, I will select building A. So now you can see my building is cropped as per the scope box. Point number 2. Scope box overrides the crop view. So you can see I have applied a scope box over here and the crop view is now grayed out. This means that the boundary will now be controlled by the scope box and not by the crop view. Point number 3. Editing the boundaries of the scope box. You cannot edit the boundary of a scope box directly. If you want to do it, you just need to come here, set it to none, disable the crop view as well as the crop region visibility. Then you will be able to see the boundaries of your scope box. Now you can adjust it like this and then click outside or hit escape and apply the scope box once again. Point number 4. Visibility of the scope box. You can control the visibility of scope box through the visibility graphics. Press VV to go to the visibility graphics. Once in the visibility graphics, go to annotation categories and search for scope box. So you can see the scope box is over here. If I turn this off, the scope box will, all scope boxes will turn off. This will make your drawing more clear. I'll undo the step now. There is also a global setting for the visibility of scope boxes. Select your scope box and you can see views visible option is available over here. You can decide in which particular view you want to turn on the visibility of your scope boxes from over here. Point number 5. Scope box applies to the 3D view as well. So this is the 3D view and the orange lines which you are seeing, these are the scope boxes. I'll just enable the scope box for building A like this. And you can see the building is now cropped in the 3D view as well. If I want to change the height of my scope box, I can do so. How can I do that? Just click here none and your scope box will be highlighted and you can simply drag its height like this. Again go here and apply the scope box. So the building's height will increase along with the height of the scope box. Point number 6. You can apply scope box to multiple views at once. I'll just select all these views like this holding the shift key and from here I'll just change the scope box of each of these views to this one, building A, and now the scope box is applied to all the levels as you can see here. Point number 7. Scope box can be applied to grids and levels also. As you can see, the grids are not really aligned. What I will do, I will just cross select only the grids and select it using this filter. Click OK, and from here I will apply the scope box. So you can see the grids are now perfectly aligned. You can use this same feature for levels also. Point number 8. Scope box applies to the sections, elevations and callout views also. Let me show you how. I'll just go to this particular section view and you can see the whole site and the building over here. Now what I'll do, I'll just apply the scope box from here. So you can see the building is now cropped in the section view also as per the extents of the scope box. Similarly, you can try this for callout views and elevation views. Point number 9, and this is quite an important one. You can rotate your views with the help of scope box. Suppose you wanted to place this view vertically in your sheet. How can you do that with the help of scope box? Let's see. So the scope box is applied here. I'll go here and set it to none. Crop view off, crop region visibility off. Still we can't see our scope box. Let's check in the visibility graphics. Go to VV, search for scope box. I'll turn this on and click on OK. So this one is the scope box. I'll click on it and I'll rotate it. Let us rotate it by 90 degrees and hit enter. So this is one error which you might also get. It says that the datum elements are not intersecting with the scope box. As you can see, these grids are not intersecting with the scope box. So what we will do, we will click on disassociate. Okay, so the rotation is now done. Now what we need to do, again apply the scope box from here, building A. So you can see the building is now rotated. Again you need to adjust the boundaries of your scope box. So business as usual, click it to none, turn this one off and this one off. It will go back to its old position, and now you just need to adjust the extents of your scope box and apply the scope box from here again. Point number 10. You can assign work sets to the scope boxes. So when you select your scope box, on the properties you can see which work set it belongs to. You can simply create a work set called as scope boxes, and then you can control the visibility of your scope boxes globally with one single click. Point number 11. You can copy the scope boxes from another Revit project link. As you can see, this scope box belongs to a linked Revit model which is samplesfacade.rvt. What if I want to bring this scope box into my Revit file? It is very simple. You just need to press the tab key to highlight the scope box and then click on it with the help of your mouse. It will show you that it is a scope box, but since it is in a link, it will show manage links over here. Simply go to copy and from here select align to same place. So now the scope box is in your Revit file also. The interesting fact about this is that if someone has already applied a rotation in their scope box, that rotation will be applicable in your model also. Point number 12. You can schedule scope boxes also. Yes, you heard it right. Suppose you are working on a very massive project and you want to track in which views you have provided scope box correctly or not. So for that you can create a schedule. Just right click on your schedule and go to new view list, and from here we will select view name and scope box and click on OK. And this schedule will show you in which views you have applied the scope box. This is a very critical feature. Point number 13. You can use scope boxes to split your views and place it into multiple sheets. Suppose you want to place this view on sheets such that this is part A and this is part B. You want part A on a different sheet and part B on a different sheet. How can you do it? To do that, first you need to duplicate your view. Go to duplicate view and duplicate as a dependent. So you can see one dependent will come over here. So we will name it part A. Again what I'll do, I'll simply duplicate this view again. Click on duplicate as a dependent. This is very important. You have to duplicate it as a dependent. Now I will rename it as part B. Now I will go to the parent view again, level 1, and I will create two scope boxes. Go to view, select scope box and draw one scope box like this, and again draw another scope box overlapping the first one. like this. Select the first scope box and name it as part A. Select the other scope box and name it as part B. So this is your parent view. Okay. Now I will go to part A view and I will select the scope box as part A. So this is my part A. Now I'll go to part B, and in the part B I'll select scope box as part B. So now the other side is cropped like this. Now you can place these views on your sheets. Point number 14, deleting the scope boxes. Always remember, whenever you delete a scope box, it will not be specific to this particular view. It will affect the whole project. So always exercise caution while deleting the scope boxes. So guys, this was all the knowledge I had about scope boxes. If you come to know of any feature that I have not mentioned in this video, you can write it in the comments so that others can also benefit from it. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please subscribe my channel. See you in the next one.